This is about 2 to 3 weeks to get it to the point to where you can drop it in and grow.
How many times a day do you flush?
Twice, once in the morning and once at night. And if you forget at night, just do it again the next morning.
Yeah. I have it set for missing 4 times a day, and then the flow is twice a
This is
day.
13. Look, so you have 9. They have what? Oh, let's see, 13.
And the reason why you want to be high on tables because of slugs. That's like our major #1 reason why we grow this way.
This is where I started after school too.
Yeah.
I was like, we could do this. I think we can know this. So, yeah.
So I just started experimenting. I just started doing all sorts of different, seeds and trying different stuff. I'm just, like I said, I had a black thumb, and when you come here to Hawaii, you can actually put a stick in the ground and grow, and you're like, holy moly, this is amazing. This is one project that we want to start doing for the community is building greenhouses for them. And that's what we'll do with our food movement is getting greenhouses built. You can stick 4 of these tubs in one of those greenhouses. I built it off of an old pallet. It was one of my projects at school that I did. And I used to learn how I learned in little buckets. So all you need is a light blocking reservoir. So I'm just growing them in little buckets. And as you can see, I mean, there's plenty of lettuce for,
Just in a 4x4 right there, you could get like 80 heads.
And then I started experimenting with cucumbers, it's like you think of all the things that you want to eat, and then I just take everything from school and then experiment with it at the farm.
And like, we want to have a trash can.
Thank you.
That first setup though, there's so many cucumbers it tore the tent down. So now we grow against the chain link fence, and another thing I built is
Maybe I'm giving it away, so as you can see I have cucumbers, tomatoes, and stuff, I bag them all up, and then I get on my rollerblades and I just give them to the neighborhoods. And people are super shocked when I show up and I have food for them, and they're like, oh, you don't want money? And I said, no, I don't want any money. Just enjoy it. So.
And I told you she rollerblades.
And I literally go down the street and deliver produce. Now we have an e-bike and we can get on the e-bike.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
We also have our honor stands in front there too now. But
And then we just started, we have lava and cinders, so we started just practicing and doing different stuff, trying to grow more for ourselves. We never intended let's do it for the whole community.
see that we potted all those in the back there. We have so many other plants now. So. Yeah.
Yes, hard to get them to grow to a big head without something eating it before it hits that point.
Yeah. Well, we have cauliflower and broccoli. Yeah, it's all growing. It's not real big heads, but
Nothing but groceries.
yeah, it's still flavorful for sure.
Wow, look at all this, dude.
This is a very beginning. Now we don't have 1 ounce of ground other than what's growing. Everything's growing underneath. Right?
Food, we're very focused on food and anything that gives us food that we can eat ourselves or give away.
She said anything inside the fence you gotta be able to eat. Anything on the front, then I'll do beautification. That's it.
We're only on a 1/4 acre lot here, so we've got 13 tables, full tables between 48 and 96 heads of lettuce. And this one's just our first one that we did. That was a 20 by 30 tent. I got the HDOA grant. I don't know if anybody knows about the small farming grant. They're putting out it again next month, so apply for it. So that's how we got $5,000 to build this first one.
That's why building tables right now.
And everybody we encouraged to apply this year got it. So they're giving them out, you guys. And this just shows you me. I'm in there trying to do it myself, it's like.
She just probably did for a little while.
And that include the
HDOA. No, HDOA. Hawaii Department of Agriculture.
Oh, okay.
And here was our first. It was like building one table after another all the way through there.
So we like to create the tables because, like we said, we can grow either 48 heads or 96 heads of lettuce. Depends on what you're growing. If you want a big, nice, beautiful head of lettuce, you need to give it more room. That's a 48 table.
And that's what it looks
If
like
you
right
want
now. So it's
cilantro, romaine, pak choi, you can grow those nice and tight so you get double the production.
they're high on tables. Totally like copper and Vaseline and salt the legs. So yeah, we put Vaseline and then throw pool salt on it, and it's almost like a coral on legs now. So it's like I haven't seen one, knock on wood. So.
What about mosquitoes?
Sometimes we get them in there. Alan uses these things called.
Yeah, they're called mosquito dunks. I don't know if you heard of those. Yeah, so I'll use those in a couple buckets around the property. But as far as like having that in there, it's not an issue whatsoever.
This is the first
Yeah,
one?
I don't have them even on our.
So we had a UK farm harvest. We opened up to the entire community. Everything was free. We didn't charge any of our neighbors. Then we started charging. It was only $3, and it was always for Hawaii residents only. I didn't want to be working my tail off to just, someone vacationing here. I wanted it to be for us. So we did a lot of social media. If you look on our Facebook page or Instagram, there is just video after video after video after video. And we're not even personally on Facebook or Instagram. We just put it on for this kind of stuff. But we want to let the community know. We let them know about the grants. We always let them know about anything that is available that has to do with food. We really try to keep it food centric.
So you're the little sign at the Ainaloa
Yeah,
Yes,
roundabout.
the
We've been
yellow
meaning
sign.
to come, okay.
Yeah.
So we go to the bottom of Ainaloa Boulevard and we just give away bags of free lettuce. People would pull over, free? I'm like, yeah, free. Because
Sometimes we have more than
we got in the front of the newspaper about our food insecurity thing, and then we just started teaching classes.
Yeah. Now it's over 600.
No, we're over almost 700.
Almost 700.
700 people that we've taught. So we just opened up our plates and just teaching people. I mean, it's a tight space there.
Yeah.
We try to do a lot of community events just to show people. We go to the Puna night market and we just give away the lettuce for free.
So there's another picture of it like Nelson on machinery.
I saw
I gave him that for our wedding anniversary. But we bring our whole table there so people can see.
I know that. That's funny.
And then I feel like I can teach people more stuff. Like, so I taught them how to do sprouts in a jar. I don't know if anybody does sprouts in a jar. It's the cheapest, easiest thing to do. So I brought a little presentation over Makua Farmers Market and just wanted to show people, how they could do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they were stoked. They were like, you guys can always come here for free because we're just giving stuff away.
Then no one could come to our Thursday produce U-Pick farm. So then we opened up a produce stand, and this is our ghetto attempt at our
That's the first
produce
one.
stand.
They've done better.
And so we just put it out there. We're like, okay, have a little bucket for people to put the $3 in, and they just take their lettuce, and it actually worked. And people were doing it so much that they stopped coming to the U-Pick farm. They were just getting their lettuce during the week, so then we stopped having the U-Pick farm.
But now we're like having to restock that every single morning, every night, every day. And then the weekends is totally full. So this is why I started doing the business.
So this is like when Isaiah came and we had the class, very hands-on course that we give. We try to encourage people to do this for yourself. Create a mist area, create a flow station. The mist area, you're talking $20 for a mister. And you can put stuff down there and you don't have to worry about the sun drying it out. So that's Alan's little
I love automated.
automated. We're all about
Yeah.
automated.
It's like a little timer. It's like 2 AA's and working for almost 2 years. 2 AA batteries.
Yeah, you need a mister in your
That's
house.
actually has a 4x8.
You need a plastic room.
See, that small one still,
Yeah.
100 lettuce was enough.
And then this is like what happens with ag. If anybody knows ag, stuff always happens.
That was so much fun coming out to it that day. I was like, oh, you got me.
So, I know, it was really crazy.
Yeah. I'd have been a few poles to get that all fixed.
You know when you go out your tents like this, you're like, oh.
And then the wind blew, and that was
Literally was blowing stuff on top of our house.
Yeah.
Which was crazy, but. So then we wanted to build a bigger stand. So we built a double wide stand so that you can have more produce. We have a
That was
couple
way
levels in
better
there.
stuff.
Shows you how Auntie can come here and get produce. That's actually Alan's mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need you to be in a
so you
video.
can even do it. Yep.
So you come up there, all you do is you just harvest things out like this, and you harvest the produce. And that's all you do. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you get a free dog with every head of lettuce?
Yeah, right. Not
That's a $5,000 dog.
Almost.
So this is what we try to encourage our students to open up their own hydroponic hut. This is our second class student. She opened up a hydroponic hut, so if you go on 8th and Maku'u, you can find this hydroponic hut. We allow them to use all our branding, and when I say ours, it's not ours, it's more the community.
But they're the Treehouse Farm is what you looked them up on.
And they have a hydroponic hut. You can get $3 produce out there 24 hours a day, just like this.
Yep. And that's their tent, their tables, we help them all set that all up.
Coming soon, and I'm involved.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, there's more than just them too now.
She bakes bread, she has eggs, she has all sorts of stuff. So
So
she's open on the
whatever.
weekends, Treehouse Farm.
She makes the best sourdough. They have rabbits and ducks and chickens.
Yeah, we pressured them, going, you have to do this, you have to do this. So then Rosette's Nursery approached us. They wanted us to start selling produce, and I'm like, it's $3 a head. I'm not schlepping the produce down there to give you a cut and everything like that. So they said, put your stand in there for free. So they never took a single dollar from us because they make me cry. Because they believe so much in our food movement that they allowed us to put our stand in there. So we had our stand in there so people could come in and grab produce from out of there, only $3. It got really hard to maintain the stand because I'm the type of person, like, I get the yellow leaves off, I make it look all pretty, and it just wasn't looking as pretty out there. So we were in there for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 months, and then we pulled it out. They want us to come back, but I was just super impressed that they didn't want any money, and it just shows you that there are businesses out there that want to support, you know, the local farmers doing stuff out here. And they don't need to take any money for it. In fact, it brought business to their business because people came over there. We did teach one class over there, and it was really hard because we had to schlep all of our stuff over there, and it's just, I really prefer the way we did it with Isaiah, where you can come and see our examples, you get to touch and feel and mix the media and do stuff like that. People retain it so much more than just sitting down in a lecture and listening to people.
Well, they were sad to see us leave too, but it became more of a retail. People a lot of people don't understand, you know, when you pull them down, you see the roots, you got to get them all back in there too, you know, otherwise you kill them. So a lot of times we go there and be like, wow, I just pull stuff and leave it all over. So it's kind of like, unless you maintain it the whole time, we're like, we just kind of pull out.
And like we said, we did a class into Rosette's, but like it was hard just to bring everything over there. The next thing we did, we coupled with Alejandro and Kelly from Puna Rising Ohana. They actually were in the entrepreneur program, and they came up to us and they said, hey, we want to learn how to do this. Now Kelly and Alejandro have opened their own hydroponic hut. It's called Puna Fresh. It's down there on the Red Road at Kalani Oceans. And they've actually stepped up, and they're one of our educators. So we have 4 educators. It's myself, Alan, Kelly, and Alejandro. And Kelly teaches you about rat lungworm, and Alejandro teaches you about reservoirs and making holes and doing things like that.
Yeah,
Totally off subject. Whoever owns that blue Honda outside your windows.
That's it. I was just behind me and going, that is on subject. So they were doing videos and stuff like that. This is us just being funny, just trying to make funny stuff.
That was your car.
So we really try to show people at our farm is how you can take it from just like a bin system like this and take it to a full-grown production where you're actually supplying the community with food. So we did at Lani Pea, we're always doing free stuff. We did a seed side exchange, and we brought probably about 200 starts over there. Everything is vegetable starts. We don't do any ornamentals or anything like that. So we just gave them away. We educated the kapuna. We've been feeding the kapuna since they started. They come over and they harvest from us to make their salads. We went over there, we gave away some bin systems, and just, you know, kind of stimulating them out there. And then we just started teaching class after class after class after class after class after class. And if you go down our street in Ainaloa, it is just packed with cars.
Once a month it looks like.
And our neighbors are really cool about it, which is awesome.
What road do you guys live on?
We live on Rainbow Drive.
Follow the yellow signs, you'll see them at the roundabout and all that. Yeah.
So these are our students. This is done through Puna Rising Ohana. We coupled with them, and they allowed us to have $20 in supplies. and then we taught the class for free. So we've been doing that for the last 6 months, teaching this class completely for free. And then I reached out to Home Depot as well because we didn't have enough supplies for everybody. And as Isaiah can show you, he went home with bins, seeds, net pots, nutrients, everything like that. So it was really cool to watch, you know, Puna Rising Ohana and then Home Depot come together. That's Kelly.
How is Mr. Luke?
Good. I know you were a student. I recognize you.
Turn off a minute. They're like every 6 months.
She loves what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's been interesting.
Easy stations, really quick, easy, and easy to remember, and
See, we show people how to drill the holes themselves. You're doing it all yourself. Like it's just, I feel like it's just the easiest way for people to learn hands-on.
And there's also a potted way, which is what I'm doing up there and stuff like that, showing everybody. It's kind of a peat moss cinder mix, so you can plant like regular plants just like this for perennials.
But yeah, we put like kale in there because you don't want to put that in cracky. Well, some people put it in the cracky system, but the roots get. Yes. Oh yeah. So we teach them how to do the nutrients, mix the nutrients, like literally everything. So it's a 3-hour class.
They didn't feel like 3 hours.
She's so
That's,
cute.
you know you're engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the table with all the roots on there.
yeah, we didn't know what to expect. But now that we had learned a whole bunch of it, you know, we like, yes.
What these guys did in 3 hours, it was just amazing.
It is. It's pretty crazy what we pack into 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was hands-on.
And we're rushing people through each section too in 15 minutes, like, okay, go, next, move to the next one. Like,
You know, we're like rotate.
it's fun though, you know. See, our setup is about a good 900,000 heads of lettuce almost all the time.
So, how do you guys feel about these stuff? Yeah, video, it's not a picture. Oh, great.
Feels so good
To be part of the community like this. So blessed to have you guys.
And that right there can make me cry. Because I am so invested in this, you guys. I am so invested in our community. And the reason why I taught this is because when I left the education, I told my teacher, I said, why doesn't everybody know about this? Like, this is just another great gardening tool to put in your toolbox. And he's like, well, he doesn't even have it on his syllabus. I go, why don't you have it on your syllabus that you announce? He goes, because everybody would sign up for it. I know, which is pretty crazy. And he's like, I only got 25 spots. So that's when I was like, okay, I can take this and I can move this into the community. So that sort of shows you a little bit of snapshot of what we've been doing. We've been just trying to get ourselves out there and get the community knowing how to grow for themselves. We have people coming up to our stand and I tell them, hey, you should learn how to grow. Look at Cracky Hydroponics online or take one of our classes. He goes, why would I do that? He goes, because that's kind of a bad business deal that we won't be buying lettuce from you anymore. And I said, exactly. It's like the craziest. It's not about business. It's about teaching the community how to grow. So if anybody hasn't seen, does anybody see the semi-slug? This is the one. I'm going to pass that around so you can see. It's got kind of some junk on there. But that's the semi-slug. That's the one you should be most worried about. It's the fastest moving slug. 99.9999% chance every single one of those buggers has rat lungworm in them. Now you've seen the African slug with the shell on them and the Cubana slug. Those are about 30-40% have rat lungworm, and they don't move as fast. But those ones have a lot. So it's just more about protecting your environment. When we're talking about food, we're not talking about pretty flowers or anything like that. We're actually talking about food. So I'm gonna give this out to you guys. I'll pass a couple of those around. And this sort of shows you where we're taking hydroponic cut now. So we've been doing this for 2 years, and it's just Alan and myself. We're funding everything out of our own pocket. Everything we give away is out of our own pocket. Yeah, we get $3 a head of lettuce, but we're doing so much more than that. And then it's like, how much more can we do? And then I feel like it needs to get to this certain level. And one of my friends was like, well, what does that level look like? And I said, I don't know. I thought I was going to do this for a year, and I was going to solve the food insecurity problem. And we're going to be all done. But it just doesn't happen that way, right? It takes time. So what we've created is, we wanted to take this to be a nonprofit, but we feel like in the nonprofit realm, we're gonna have a lot of hurdles. We're gonna rely on grants and things like that. So that's why we're taking it into the food movement business model. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna want people to be members of our food movement. And how we look at it is, we're gonna help all of the members collectively together. We'd love to help people outside of our membership, but until we help our members first, I'm not going outside of that. So what we're asking people to do is you throw $20 a month in the ring, right? And we're obviously throwing our $20 a month 20 times. But throw $20 a month in, but do more volunteering. Try to get more volunteers out of our members and things like that. $20 a month isn't gonna do anything, but collectively it'll do a lot. And we want to build this so that we can actually do stuff in the community. And I know there's a lot of other, like even Puna Rising Ohana, they want to create that big center over in the Malama, and that's a lot of money and and I think that's great to have that goal, but I'm talking about infrastructure within our own families, in our own communities that you can't actually see right away, but you know it's there. So the first thing I want to do, so I have my little plan. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a community program for the 3-hour Tacky Hydroponics class. Already done, we're already doing that. We completely fill up when we do our classes. Even before it was free, we completely filled up. Then we want to take, so we got the first grant for the HDOA grant for our property in Ainaloa, and then you can apply for another grant if you are a different person on a different property. We're moving to a property on 16th Street, so Alan applied for the HDOA grant for over there. It's not going to pay for everything, but we're putting a U-Pick farm over there because everybody loved to come to the U-Pick farm. So we're opening up, we're going to have 2 20 by 30 tents. In the middle is going to be a covered area, just a covered tent, nothing special, so that I can educate. Because the area, I think you know, we're in my house, our house in Ainaloa, it's really small and it's really tight. So we're going to get a bigger area that we can teach. Then eventually what we want to do is create like an industrial kitchen there. So we can take it from not only farm, teaching you how to grow it, do it, but now what do you do with it? I can't just eat a bunch of salads. Well, there's a lot more things you can do with lettuce. Plus there's a lot other things you can grow besides lettuce, right? So we're doing that as the model, right? And we're very into trying something and seeing if it works. We tried the U-Pick farm, it works. We tried the stand out front, it works. We're gonna try this U-Pick farm over there, we know it's gonna work. And with the industrial kitchen. But what we'd love to do there is take that in 16th Street and do it on someone else's property. Over in Nanavali, over in Lalani, over in Fern Forest, so that you can go to your community little, hydroponic hut and you can learn how to grow food, you can learn how to make food, and we're not talking just hydroponic lettuce. We're talking bringing in people who know how to raise chickens. How do you cook, a certain fish, or how do we, getting other people into these centers to where it can be I don't know, does it sound cool?
Yes.
It sounds cool to me.
Yes.
It sounds really cool to me,
Yes.
but it takes time and effort. So what we're doing right now, and then you get a lot of energy from me because I'm really into this, and I'm I'll be into it probably for another year, but if this doesn't start moving somewhere, I'm probably gonna die out, and I'm not lying. I will die out of this and we'll just do our own thing. But I'm not going to, because I see in your eyes, don't do that, Allison. We're moving forward. So if we can make this work, we're going to make it work. So right now, and it's still in progress, it's hydroponichawaii.com. You can go on there. We have a community website. What we want to do, we have a back office forum, kind of like a Facebook, but I don't want people to have to go on Facebook, and it's I hate Facebook and Instagram, I can just say that right now. Because I put something up that's so wonderful to the community, and somebody puts something crappy and political or something just not even related to what I posted about. And then you know what I do? I sit there and think about that post all day long. And I focus on that instead of all the accolades that I get. So we're trying to create a forum, or we have created a forum where we can go on and talk to each other. Hey, you got this? Oh, I got this. Let's trade this. Oh, we want to volunteer. A way that we can bring the community together. I don't know if I've seen so many posts on Facebook. Hey, where do I find the farmers markets? Where do I find this? Where do we find these stands that are all over the place? Have interactive maps that say, oh, you just click on here and you can find it. So that's what we're going to be doing with the $20 is creating an infrastructure before we do anything else, right? So that's going to be really cool. So, and we said about the farm to table model, right? Da, da, da. So my first thing is to create those small greenhouses like you saw. So if we can create, and those cost about $100 in material. If we got some money in, grants, things like that, or we were able to get membership money in, then we'll put that $100 out and get our volunteers to go, and we all build these greenhouses. And give them out to the members. Or the member pays $50 for them, or something like that. I don't like necessarily giving stuff for free. After doing this, Puna program, I just realized that not everybody does it, but some people just take advantage of it when it's free. And I'm more like, put your hat in the ring. And so if you guys want to do something to couple with us, and I know a lot of times you get grants and you've got to give it away for free. I would really love it if people paid just a little something, like a little $20, or they had to volunteer to get it, something like that. That's what I really look for. And when I talk about the greenhouses and things that we're doing, say somebody joins our membership program for their $20 and they don't have a lot of money. There's people in our program that are going to have a lot of money that don't need us to build a greenhouse. Okay, you don't have a lot of money. Oh, they're always the one coming to the volunteers. They're always that person deserves it. We're going to go over to their house and we're going to set them up, that kind of thing. So it's like community taking care of everybody. But it's not like the rich people just giving to, it's like, no, us economically challenged people will put our hat in the ring somehow a little bit too. Make sense? Kind of. So I want to get those small greenhouses out. I love the idea of getting that for the Puna. Really love doing that for the Puna. Then get those curbside stands out. Get the community actually starting to make money from what they're growing. Maybe if you're not making money, you're actually getting some money back to buy more seeds. To buy, it costs money, man. You go to johnnyseeds.com. I spent hundreds of dollars there. And then create these large community greenhouses all around the community. In additional U-Pick farms, what we really want to create is, say we were to do a big greenhouse, like a $5,000 greenhouse at somebody's property, we want to create what we call a boomerang grant, where we can go, okay, this is somebody who needs it, right? And they've been volunteering, we're going to build a greenhouse for them. They know how to do it, they'll get going. We get it all set up, build it all for them, and then we teach them how to sell the produce, how to get the money back. In 6 months, you can get all that money back. Your greenhouse is paid for, so then that person pays the grant back. They have the sense of pride that they didn't just take. Then that boomerang grant goes to another community member. And we just, it makes me cry. Just boomerang it to the whole community. And it's not going to be something that you go, oh, I see that building. That's what Hydroponic got created. No, it's going to be little infrastructures into mom and pop's, into auntie and uncle's backyards, right? That's kind of what we thought.
On every street. Yes.
On every street.
On every street.
And the ways to connect us, right? And then the other part about it is because a lot of times farmers have stuff and it's like, well, how do I sell it to the restaurants? And before, I don't know if anybody knows, the cottage business rules did not allow you to sell it to. Now you can. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if anybody knows that. Now you can. But how do you get that? And then you might not even have enough. So we thought of creating a business program to where we can connect the small farmer and the business. So in our forums that we have and our way to communicate with all the members, hey, we need 90 heads less. Oh, I've got 10, I've got 40, I've got 30. Boom, now we're going to get it. And all of that money, 100%, will always go to the farmer. I feel like the farmer is always the poor one. Everybody always you spend all this time growing something and somebody wants to bargain you down on. It's like, listen, we need to pay the farmers. The farmers should be up here in the community. I mean, they're the ones providing the food. The most essential thing that we need in our community is our food, right? And instead, they're like right down here. So I'd really like to uplift the farmer. I'd really like the farmer to get paid for what they have. When I have my $3 heads of lettuce, I tell people, that's not going to last for long. That is a bargain. A farmer can't really make money off of $3 heads of lettuce. So that should be a $5 head of lettuce. But maybe for our members, we make it only $3. I don't know. See, we can play with things like that, right? But the farmer should get paid for what they're worth. If not, grow it yourself, right? So, yeah. The other parts that we have to, I just move on. The other part on part 4 is our school programs. Now, this is really important. This is part where I think of people like Isaiah who are already in there. That we want to create a program for the keiki, right? Get the keiki growing. We could do that. Put a greenhouse that we build, put it over in the school, teach the kids, get them all sitting around the bin. I'm guaranteed when these kids watch this stuff grow, they are going to want to eat it. You remember that little blonde girl that was in class? Maybe about her age. She was just she had this ledge. She was all about it. Like, I'm going to do this. It was really cool to see them inspired. Now, I feel like we've got 3 problems here. I've got a food insecurity problem. And it's not just money, it's access. Even if you're rich, sometimes you don't have access to good, wholesome food. So we have a food insecurity problem. We have a type 2 diabetes problem here, right? So if we can get the kids starting to eat greens early, I don't know, does that work? Sort of? Cover the broccoli with a bunch of cheese, stuff like that. And then the third thing that we have here is we have an economic problem. You know, we have tourists coming over here and I'm not going to say taking, but they're not putting back into our economy. It's because it's not structured that way. So we need to structure it that way so that we are growing for ourselves. This is the ghetto sign, but growing for ourselves, growing for our community, and growing for the visitors. And then maybe we can change that whole, you know, I don't know, thought around about the visitors. It's like, no, they're actually, you know, contributing to our economy. And when we think about the businesses, and one of the businesses that we're going to practice on is Kaleos. Because Alan and I have partnered with 2 other people because we just went to them, they're friends of ours, like, we can't do this anymore, we need help. We need a website built, we need this, that, and they're like, we got you. And actually the one partner, Patrick, he was like, I've wanted you to ask me for so long. And I'm like, really? He's like, yes, I've been watching you from afar. And he does events and does coordination. So we look at doing this food movement membership is not just food and everything like that, it's having fun. Having events, having gardening events, let's all go to this person's project or house and do a project. Or let's have a seed exchange, or let's just have a party and everybody brings poo-poos, you know, that kind of thing. But bringing us together. And that's why I like I talk a lot too. When we do Hawaii, when we did it, it was Hydroponic Hut, growing Hawaii together. Not just growing food, but growing us together as a community. And I feel like when we did this, it was such in the heart of COVID where no one was talking to each other. We didn't have any friends, nothing. And then we opened up Hydroponic Hut, and now we have friends. It's really cool. But it really has helped, you know, bring the community together. So we want to teach the kids. The second thing I want to do is I want to teach the high schoolers. And so hopefully they learned it when they're in their beginner school, but if they haven't, we go in the high schools, we teach the kids how to do this, then we teach the kids the business side of it and how they can make money doing this. Like I said, we're going to partner with Kaleos to get them started so we can practice on everything. And we look at it like having our logo on their menu, and then someone, oh, I can recognize that. They support local farmers. And then having that logo all of it, oh, they support local farmers. So then the tourist has an option to go, hey, I'm going to go to this restaurant because they're actually buying from local farmers. And like I said, again, all the money will always go back into the farmer's hands. So our last part of this is we want to take hydroponic, and I know it's so crazy. I want it to be not just islands wide, and make it as crazy as it sounds, a multi-million-dollar company where we have lots of SKUs and a lot's coming in, and then we want to take it and we want to sell it back to the community in the form of a community trust. And I'm thinking about we could buy lands and buy different things like that, and then transfer it in as a community trust so that it never goes away. Because Al and I don't think we're going to run and do this for the next 20 years. But right now, we got the chutzpah to do it right now, so we're putting the time in right now. But eventually, if we could find a way to gift it back to the community so that it becomes the community's, and then it's up to the community to keep it going, and yeah. So that's kind of our idea of what we have and where we're at, and you know, we thought about, you know, like I said, nonprofit business, and you know, we thought maybe we could couple with nonprofits, you know, to bring this to the communities, but and that's why, you know, Isaiah asked if we could speak, and then Eileen got a hold of us, and I'm just like, the more we can get it out there and let people know this is what we want to do, I think the more people are going to come forward and say, hey, I want to help. We started a volunteer program so we can start having volunteers do stuff. Our first volunteer project is going to be on 16th Street to get that first hydroponic U-Pick farm out, and yeah.
16th and what?
16th and Maku'u.
Okay.
So it's right over there. We have a perfect lot.
Left or right? Dead
Take a
end?
left at Maku'u. It's about like a quarter mile down on the right.
But it's not built yet.
Yep.
We haven't even
It's
got
open
it.
line. The city doesn't contain up there right now, but yeah.
Oh, you're on 19. Oh, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
So we'd love to see those all over, you know. I mean, HVP alone, that's like the biggest subdivision in the entire nation.
Well, we had over at Rosettes, a lot of people like going, oh my God, you took it away from there. Now I got to drive across the highway to go up the road, you know, up 9 Low. It's like, It'll be back, it'll be a lot bigger over there too. But you'll see, I mean, like you're talking about like, oh, I'd love to have it on every road and stuff. Just alone on Rainbow where we live, everybody loves us. I mean, they do. They just like, oh my God, don't. We start talking about, oh, when if we go down 16, they're like, you're not taking this. Please don't take this, because people rely almost on it now, and it's a great thing. It's 24/7. People in the middle of the night have gone out there, lights are going on. So I saw this one lady at 2 in the morning, and she's a nurse, and she's like, do I do the night or the morning shift? I do my lunch every day, and so it's like, you know, a lot of people rely on it. It's a good thing to have.
This is our first student that took our class, and if you see, she has all her bins lined up on the eaves of their house. So a lot of people think, oh, I need this big greenhouse to do it. No, you can stick those buggers right up against the side of her house as long as it gets enough sun, and she protects the bottom, you know, for slugs and things like that. You can grow there. Sometimes a little kind rain gets on there, that's not a big deal. But so you don't need a big greenhouse, and you don't need a lot of money. This bin system is $10. The net pots each cost 17 cents each. Keiki, this cost me what, 4 cents to grow. So it's not, yeah, it's really easy.
And talking about, like I said, I do like a peat moss cinder mix and stuff like that, so it's in the potted with holes and stuff, so it just drains through and stuff. But to get it to that point, once you have the system built, it's so easy, and almost anything you get as a vegetable to that point, it's damn near, you're almost purposely trying to kill it if you're not trying to make it grow. Because it's already got roots, it's ready to go, and man, I'm telling you, whatever you look in your grocery bag, think about, would I like to be able to grow abundance of that because I eat it all the time? That's what I do. And that's why I have a ton of different stuff like peppers and tomatoes and like different kind of chives and onions and garlic chives and all this stuff. Everything to make salsa and chilies, and that's what I always wanted. But we have so many different varieties of stuff. We got stuff from asparagus to just anything, all kinds of weird stuff. We just see if we can grow it. And so far we've been able
Just
to grow
like you
almost
probably
everything.
know, consistency. When you grow hydroponically, you really get a lot of good consistency.
Yes,
So
yes.
beautiful heads of lettuce, beautiful greens. So.
And now it's like you're almost like, what other kind of salad do I make? Well, I mean, I do taco salads all the time. We do different kinds of chicken salads and just whatever. And so it's like we're eating fresh every day. What's that?
Broccoli, red cabbage, and carrots.
Yes, yes, all the above.
Yes.
All the above.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got right now the carrots taking for
The beets are growing
Like
amazing.
this
The
long,
beets
they're
are
huge.
growing
They're
amazing.
huge.
Love
I've
it.
never tried root vegetables in hydroponic. That's
We're doing it in a
Yeah.
peat moss cinder
Peat moss
hydroponic.
cinder.
We taught Isaac.
But I've got beets like that.
I
I mean, just big golden ones, red ones. I mean, I just tons of beets, tons of all kinds of
So I
stuff.
know I went through a lot and I talked a lot and everything like that. Does anybody have any questions or any comments or suggestions? Or,
What's your project?
does it motivate you? It makes you want to grow this way, huh? She knows. Talk to her. She's got it down.
Are you guys staying for the rest of the meeting, or are you guys leaving?
I think